Hi, Cancers, and welcome to your April 2019 Tarology 33 reading. We have a Celtic Cross spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you guys got some extra cards that came out. And we have two Oracle cards that we'll go through at the end to help tie everything together, and also a Mudra card. So, quite a bit to get to. And before I even get into the main spread, let me just say that, at first glance, this looks like a pretty tough spread. So, I would say this would be one of those months where, let's say you're Cancer rising, right? Then you might want to check out the readings for your sun and your moon as well, and maybe see if those stories fit you better. Because just at first glance, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I get the feeling that this is going to be one of those readings that resonates for a smaller group of you. Because I'm like, there's no way this could be happening for most cancers. So just wanted to give you guys that heads up. So you know, yeah, it seems a little bit rough, but if it sounds like it's not really something that's resonating with you, you might want to check out the videos for your other placements this month, because this could just be something that's coming through for someone who's really going through this tougher situation and really needs to hear it. So just wanted to put that out there. And sometimes when I actually a reading might look like it's going to be rough at first glance, but then as I get through it, it doesn't. Once I get a feel for what we're looking at, it doesn't seem as bad. So there's that too. But they just at least want to give you guys that disclaimer. This just doesn't feel like one of those things that would be happening for most of you. That's just the vibe that I'm getting. So just wanted to be real with you guys there, and then we'll get started with the main spread now. All right, in the main situation, we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. So both of these came up in reverse, and the first thing that came up for me, and this is partially because of how I tend to view the Ace of Cups in reverse to begin with. But let me flip these around while we're talking about them anyway, because it could be annoying looking at them upside down the whole time. But the first thing that came to my mind with these two cards together and both in reverse is some of you might be having difficulty conceiving. Now, there's a couple of things that could point to, right? One could just be with this in reverse, this could just be saying that that's, causing some instability, right? Because the Ten of Pentacles in the upright to me represents financial stability first and foremost. Yes, with the Pentacles, it's kind of hard to avoid thinking of it from that angle. But also, this represents overall stability of the home and family environment. And you guys are actually having, well, I'm actually recording this right as the sun went in Aries, the 21st of March, and there's that full moon energy going on right now in Libra, and then there's actually going to be another full moon in Libra towards the end of Aries season. So let's say I think it's around April 17th or 18th. So that's technically two full moon's in the sign of Libra, which is your fourth house, and you guys are the natural rulers of the fourth house, and then you're ruled by the moon, so it could really be impacting that area of life for some of you. This first one here might technically be in your third houses because it's at 0 degrees Libra, so for a lot of you that could be a third house full moon, but if not, then the other one definitely would be a fourth house full moon. So that could, bring some of the stuff to light as well. But with this in reverse, that could be it. It could be that you're just having difficulty conceiving. Maybe you've been trying for a while, right? Like, okay, we want to expand our family, whether this would be your first child or you wanted to have another child if you already have children, and you're just having some difficulty with that. For others of you, it could even be that along those same lines that you're finding out that physically there's an issue there and you would need to get some fertility treatments, right? And maybe you're finding out that, again, with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, some of you might be saying, well, I don't know if this is something that we can afford right now, right? So that might be the obstacle there. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Another thing that comes to my mind is, for some of you, this could just represent some instability with your relationship in general. The Ace of Cups in reverse, right? So And then the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, this could just represent you guys possibly leaving a relationship, especially with some of the other cards that we do see around. And I mean, you know, you guys have been having pretty karmic stuff going on with your seventh house in general. I mean, you've had Pluto there for years, and it's still going to be there for a bit longer. Saturn moved into that sign now, and now your South Node is traveling through there, so there could definitely be some upheaval for you guys in the area of relationships. But those are the main things that I'm getting at. And the first thing that definitely jumped out to me though was possible fertility issues. So, you know, if that's the case, my apologies if you guys are going through that. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Judgment card. Now, this came up in the upright on the one hand, but it's also in the challenger obstacle position. So for me, this could represent that for some of you, there's, you know, trying to decide between one relationship and another, because this in the challenge position could represent that someone from your past came back around, right? And you're possibly thinking of pursuing things with that person from the past. Or to be fair, it could also be the person that you're in a relationship with who had someone from their past come back around, and it's just causing instability in your relationship connection and everything. And this could also represent, since it is the Ace of Cups beneath the Ten of Pentacles, I could also look at that another way, which is to say that you might be turning down love offers from new people because you're still hung up on someone from your past. And, you know, if that's the case, then that transit of the South Node through your 7th might actually help you to finally release that connection. So that's a good thing there anyway. But yeah, that's the vibe that I'm getting. It's definitely, for those of you, if this is resonating more on a relationship level, I feel like that's what's going on. There's some indecision between two options there. In the foundation position, we have the Hierophant card. So this is actually the major arcana card for Taurus. So some of you could be actually connected with the Taurus, obviously. That's the first thing that we could look at. Another thing that we could look at as well is what's going on in Taurus. Uranus just moved into that sign recently, and it'll be there for about another 7 years. So for some of you, this could even represent, you know, new friendship groups that you're connecting with, and maybe that's having you looking at things from a different angle, because the Hierophant represents tradition in a lot of ways. So, you know, this could represent some of your beliefs that you had growing up, and maybe now you're reevaluating some of those. You have Mars going through that sign as well, and then right as we kick off April, it's going to be moving into Gemini. So, you know, could have just had you looking at that area of life. And but yeah, again, with this in the position of the foundation, and it looks like almost like he's pointing up at that, some of you could definitely be leaving a long-term relationship because someone from your past returned. You know, obviously, like I said, the first vibe I got was that this wouldn't necessarily be a reading that would resonate with a lot of you, but for a small group of you, that could definitely be what's going on there. And there's even some more cards that make me think that we'll get to in a bit. In the past position, had a lot of cards come up here, so this was an interesting pairing. So we have the World card, the Three of Wands, the Lovers, and the Nine of Cups. So first, let's talk about the World card. So this sometimes can represent Saturn, and like I said, you guys have Saturn in your opposite sign right now. So, you know, that's a pretty karmic thing where if it doesn't bring relationship difficulties per se, at the very least it helps you to look at that relationship through a much more realistic, sobering lens, you know. So I wouldn't necessarily say taking off the rose-colored glasses, but just looking at things far more realistically and, like, okay, again, if this is about, like I said, one scenario could just be that there's not technically any fertility issues, but you guys might be really assessing, okay, can we grow our family right now, right? Maybe financially it doesn't feel like a realistic move to make right now. So maybe you're reassessing, okay, yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to have another kid, but maybe the timing's not right now because we have XYZ to worry about as far as finances, so that could be what's going on there. This also represents the North Node for me personally, too. So this could just be pointing to the fact that the North Node moved into your sign recently, and before that, it was actually in your second house because the nodes that always move backwards through the zodiac. So that to me, with the Three of Wands here, this could also be saying that this transit has helped you in the area of your self worth. Meaning that, maybe things that you might have settled for in the past maybe aren't, you don't think that they're good enough now because you've really reevaluated your self worth, then what you need has become more important to you. And, with the Three of Wands there, that would support that. You might hear this referred to, including for me sometimes, as that waiting for your ships to come in energy. Really, this is that energy of wanting action, but at the same time, waiting for it to come to you, being in that more receptive type of vibe. And then with the Lovers here, this could just be saying that, that's what you're waiting on. You're waiting for that real connection, right? That love connection that feels faded, right? And then with the Nine of Cups, that would support that as well. The Nine of Cups is often referred to as the wish fulfillment card. Um, and if you look at this person, I do say to an extent, I always warn people that their body language looks a bit closed off, and maybe the guy has a bit of a smug look on his face. But the main vibe that you get from this is someone who knows their worth, right? So going back to what we were saying about the self worth thing, and they're like, you know what? I know what I bring to the table, right? I know what I have to offer. That's the love I have to offer. And, I'm going to let people come to me because I know that that's my worth, and I'm not going to settle, and I'm not going to chase after anyone, right? So that could be what's going on there, too. This could just be saying that part of it could be, and again, part of that might be tied in with you feeling that there's someone from your past that you're just convinced was your person, right? So maybe now there are those new love offers coming in with that Ace of Cups in reverse and the Ten of Pentacles, but it's saying that, you're refusing those offers because, you know what you want and you're not going to settle for anything or anyone less than that. All right. In the present position, we have the Knight of Swords and in reverse. So this is actually a Gemini court card. So you combine that with the Lovers. I'll have to at least put the possibility out there that, for example, maybe some of you guys have a Gemini from your past that you're still hung up on. And maybe you are in a relationship with someone else, but maybe you reconnected with that Gemini recently and you're like, maybe those feelings kicked up for you again. And now you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I really, I still feel a certain way about this person, right? And maybe it's causing relationships in your current committed relationship. For others of you, this could just represent them coming back into your life, and with this in reverse, especially, it could just be saying that yes, they're back in your life, but there's difficulty getting anything off the ground with them, and maybe that's what's going on there, and the main issue there. But with this in reverse too, I also look at what Gemini is ruled by, and that's Mercury, and what Mercury's doing. So Mercury's been retrograde, basically. It's still retrograde at the time I'm recording this. Technically, when we get into April, it will be done, but it'll still be in shadow for a bit, and it'll, be making some tough aspects with Neptune and Jupiter. So that could still lead to a lot of miscommunication and confusion, especially while still in the sign of Pisces. So That could be what's going on there too. Maybe there's confusion on your part. Maybe it's not even that this person physically came back, but maybe you're just looking at your current relationship and thinking back to an old one, right? And you're like, oh, I don't know, I kind of wish that I had that old connection back in some way, shape, or form. All right. In the position of the near future, we're done with the reversals at least. We have the Knight of Cups, and we have the Eight of Swords. So again, this at least points to me that for some of you, going back to what I was saying about the Ace of Cups in reverse, and maybe even meaning that people are, coming to you with love offers and you're just turning them down because in your mind you're so set on who you should be with, and it's not that person, obviously. So this could just be saying that, love is trying to come your way, but you're just not making any move toward it because, either again, you just haven't processed and truly let go of an old connection and you're just refusing to even get into anything new, which is fine. That's healthy if you really aren't over a connection. But, with the Knight of Cups in the upright, it does at least look like it would be a legitimate offer. This is actually a Pisces card, speaking of Pisces. Could represent you too, though. This could be you possibly saying that you're gun shy to extend an offer to anyone, right? Because if these both represent you, instead of this being another person and then this being you or vice versa, this could just be saying that you're fearful to extend an offer to someone. And that could be what all this has been centered around as well. Maybe there's been someone in your life, but that you do want something stable with, but you've been fearful to actually speak up and let them know. That's certainly a possibility for at least some of you. What's interesting to me though is we have three Knight cards here. We have the Knight of Cups there, Knight of Swords, and then the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And all three of those are mutable energies. So to me, that almost leans me back towards thinking that it really is a person A, person B type thing, where there are two people that you're trying to decide between. All right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Ten of Swords. So, not really a good way to spin this card, right? But with this in your influence on a situation, this could either say that you're causing someone else to feel this way, but yes, for some of you, this can be saying that you feel this way as well. The swords usually are thoughts, and I always try to point out to people when I remember that the original way that the tarot deck that this was based off of was drawn. It's the Somabuska Tarot is the name of it. It actually looks more like the Ten of Wands, where instead of the swords being in someone's back, they're actually carrying 10 swords. So to me, this could be more on the level of a mental burden, and that's understandable, even if it's like any of those scenarios that I mentioned before, whether it's issues with fertility, right? Maybe financially feeling like you're not ready to have children yet, or if it is, you're in a relationship that you're committed to, but you keep getting these thoughts of this other person, or this other person physically came back around, and now you feel like you're questioning your current relationship. It could just be a lot of mental stuff too, meaning that, nothing's physically ending or taking, you're not physically taking any action toward ending or anyone ending it with you, but there's just a lot of a mental burden around it and you're just ready to let it go, but maybe just not knowing how to quite yet. Now, in the position of the environment, another tough sword card, right? We have the Three of Swords. So, this is actually, again, with this in the position of the environment's influence, this could be saying that you are causing someone else to feel this, absolutely. And with it as the position of the environment's influence, this could also just mean that things going on around you are causing you to feel this way as well. Now, I'm really, my first instinct is that for the majority of you, it would be you that's ending something here. So this could very well be someone else feeling this way. Even if it's not as heavy as I made it sound, right? It could just be that you recently went through a breakup. Other people are trying to, make offers to you, right, with that Knight of Cups energy, but you're just turning them down because you haven't truly put the old connection behind you yet. So that could be what's holding things up. And if someone really is into you and they make an offer, that yeah, if they get turned down, that might be how they feel, right? Now, it's the Three of Swords. It definitely sucks while you're in it, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world either. So, whether it's someone having you feel this way or you having someone else feel this way, like I said, it is rough. Keep in mind this is just energy for a month. So and it's a month where, like I said, there's been a lot of crazy things going on. We had those retrogrades. Mercury's still going to be making some tough aspects as April goes along, and then you guys have the double full moon in Libra to deal with. So could just be a tense month in general. And then with the cardinal energies, even though the sun's going to be passing through Aries, since you have some heavy stuff going on in your seventh house with, like I said, Saturn, the South Node, and Pluto there, as it passes through Aries, it's going to square those things, and that could be tense aspects. So, it could definitely be a bumpy ride. You might feel like once things get into Taurus, and you know what? Speaking of Taurus, and this is the major arcana card for Taurus, what this could also be pointing to with this in the foundation could just be saying that around the time of Taurus is when you're going to get that stability, because again, the Hierophant does represent stability, tradition. So maybe you guys are going through this unstable feeling right now, but maybe it's saying primarily that this is what this is saying is, all right, when you get towards the end of the month, the sun moves into Taurus. That's when things might settle down for you, so keep in mind, it might even just be one of those things where for a few weeks it might feel like it's really hectic, crappy energy to deal with, but it might pass just as quickly too. Because we had major arcana there in the past and it's a challenged position, but aside from that, there's not much going on in the way of major arcana out here as we move forward. So some of this stuff could pass. All right, and the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Cups. So, this, I'm going to assume that this is a hope, and this is technically a court card for Scorpio. So this could just be saying that that's what you're hoping for, maybe actually an actual Scorpio, right? Or maybe that's the type of connection you want, right? Maybe you realize that there just hasn't been a lot of romance in your relationship lately and you want that restored. Or if you are truly realizing that, what, this person isn't right for me, this is the type of connection that you are hoping for. And then, even though this is a Scorpio card, it could easily represent you as well. So that could just be saying that you want to be firm in your beliefs and in what you expect and what you accept too. So setting firm boundaries basically is a better way of saying that. All right, and then in the outcome position, we have the Page of Wands. And we have the Five of Pentacles. So another rough card here, right? But here's what's interesting about that. So let's say that this is how you're feeling, right? With the, like we said, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Ten of Swords, Three of Swords. This card here actually represents the first 10 degrees of Taurus. So actually that would be February 20th, let's say, to April 20th to April 30th. So those last 10 days of April was actually what this card represents. So you combine that with the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is about taking action. Might not be as sure-footed as if the queen or the king or even a knight had taken it, but it's that readiness to actually take action. So again, if that's these energies that you're dealing with early on in the month, this could just be saying that by the time the sun moves into Taurus, you're ready to take action to get out of this feeling, right? That could be one way it's playing out. Now, I do have to at least throw it out there, though, for some of you, if it really is about a huge relationship upheaval, right? Maybe with that Hierophant pointing up to that Ten of Pentacles and Ace of Cups in reverse. Maybe this is saying for some of you, you might actually have been, if not a divorce, it would probably be a relationship where you guys are living together at the very least. And then maybe you're like, okay, we're totally splitting apart. We're moving, right? Because, like I said, you are going to have those double full moons in Libra, which is your fourth house, which represents home. So some of you could be having to move, right? Because you're like, all right, well, I'm leaving this relationship, or they're leaving you. And, for people who've been in a relationship for a while, you're used to splitting everything down the middle as far as bills go. Okay, then yeah, at least at the very least in the very beginning, you could feel like that, right? Feel like, it's really a drain financially because you're like, okay, how am I going to make ends meet now? So, but yeah, for the majority of you, I don't think it's going to be that dark. I do have to at least throw that out there though. And like I said, I'm really thinking that, especially with the Hierophant in the Foundation, which is a pretty important card, and that representing Taurus, I think this is more to saying that by the time of Taurus, things are going to start to sort themselves out. But we'll see. We'll take a look at the Oracle cards as well, see what they add to the mix. Now, interestingly enough, the first one you guys got is soulmates. So, I mean, if we're looking at these cards here, that doesn't look like the most soulmatey connection in the way most people like to think that, right? But we'll see what the messages have to say. There's the artwork for it. Now, to be fair, it looks like these penguins have gone through some stuff, right? They don't look like they're in the best of condition right now. I mean, even it could just be a loving embrace, but just get that feeling like at the very least this penguin looks really tired, right? And the other person's just leaning on them, holding that key. So, um, and again, maybe this is a warning, not a warning, but a reminder that hey, if you are hung up on someone from your past, maybe you're gonna get a realistic view of them. And maybe there's been someone trying to get your attention that actually is a good fit for you, and maybe you're finally able to put that other connection behind you. But we'll see what what the message in the book say for this card. All right, it says essential meanings: harmonious partnerships, love, friendship, companionship, a relationship fostering personal growth. The Oracle's message: you are meant to evolve and transform with the companionship of others. Certain people enter into your life in order to take you to the next level of healing, consciousness, and authenticity. It is always a reciprocal experience, although the results for each of you will vary. You know these people by the strong pull drawing you toward them, and sometimes by a strong aversion to them initially, too. Soulmates can be friends for life or remain in your life for only a short time. No matter what, you will be changed in ways that you can't possibly fathom now. Pay attention to these people today. They are your greatest gifts. So, what's interesting to me, it says you know these people by the strong pull drawing you towards them, and sometimes by a strong aversion to them initially, too. So that could be what's going on there where, I already covered that where I was saying for some of you could be someone trying to get your attention, but maybe because you're still hung up on a past connection or even just, with the Hierophant and the Foundation there, maybe you've always had beliefs that you were raised with of how a love relationship should pan out and how it should be, right? And maybe that's been the difficulty for you there. And then that alone, because like I said, this could just be more representing a mental burden more than actual, real, you know, something really bad actually happening. So maybe that's what's going on between you and another person. The relationship message says, consider love in the deepest sense. Love so powerful that you will never be the same, regardless of how long your relationship lasts. Consider friendships and romantic bonds so compelling that they overwhelm you with gratitude or break you open so you will finally claim who you were meant to be. Even a companion animal reminds you that it is you who is being rescued and healed. Pay attention, for you are in the presence of a soulmate, come to guide you home to the real you. So, that message actually to me This actually surprisingly is resonating to me a little bit more than I thought it would with the main spread, because that particular message makes me think of what we were saying here in the past, how you had Leo moving the North Node moving through Leo, which is their second house, which might have been helping you build your self worth, and now it's moving through your sign. So maybe maybe through some of these harsh connections and situations, it's really helped you see what you will and won't stand for, and helped you really evaluate what you are willing to accept and not accept, right? So they've helped your self worth in that regard. All right, the prosperity message says strategic alliances are most important right now as you begin to attract the perfect people to support your dreams. This is a journey you will share with others. Mentors, business partners, helpers, employees, creative partners, friends, and strangers open doors for you and step through the portal to join you in a harmonic dance of collaboration, commitment, and co creation. This is what you've been waiting for. So, I didn't necessarily pick up much of a vibe as far as like a financial reading, other than I said maybe with that Ten of Pentacles, perhaps some financial difficulties in regards to possibly expanding your family. But, I mean, there are some positive cards here. Yes, we have that Knight of Swords in reverse, but we have the Knight of Cups, which is pretty positive. Hierophant in the Foundation, the upright's pretty positive. So, could be some of that going on as well. But personally, I don't see as much of a connection there, but hopefully it did resonate for some of you anyway. And then the second oracle card we have is from the Spirit Animal Oracle, and you guys got Lion Spirit. It says, "Be generous of spirit." There's the artwork for it, and it's number 37. So we'll see what this has to say. It says, "A healthy ego means you ease God's order instead of edging God out. Lion Spirit's appearance is a reminder that you have been given the gift of pride and a healthy sense of your worth to express your divine, authentic self in a unique way. You are both the king and the queen, secure in your prosperity and wisdom, and generous of spirit as you help others. Take pride in your ability to serve from the heart. Contentment with what you have right now allows you to use your resources wisely as you give to others in ways that educate, heal, inspire, and delight. Be proud yet humble. Practice gratitude, and you will find that the accolades that come to you are no match for the joy of knowing what you have been able to do for others through expressing the bounty of generosity within you. Lion Spirit knows there is a great savannah before you, and many who will benefit from the healthy expression of your unique set of gifts if you choose to work in partnership with Spirit. All your relationships flourish as you express your worth and generosity of spirit with humility and kindness. What a blessing you can be to all." So, hopefully, that message resonated with you guys there. And then the last thing we have to get to is the Mudra card. So, for those of you who don't know, basically starting this year, for every sign, I've been pulling a Mudra card. And what a mudra is, for those of you who don't know, they're basically hand gestures or poses that you do with your hand to help clear blockages. So, sometimes it could actually be physical blockages that they're meant to help clear. Other times it's just on the more emotional, mental level. So, each of the different gestures are to help with different blockages. And the one that you guys got for this month is the Hamsi Mudra, and this is the actual gesture itself. Usually, what you would do is hold this for at least 5 minutes while meditating. And for those of you who are more accustomed to meditating, you could go longer than that. Obviously, you could do a half hour, 45 minutes. But for those of you who aren't accustomed to meditating often, 5 minutes will be fine. And the key word for this one is illumination. So let's take a look at the back of the card with the messages. All right, let me get it to focus. All right, so I'll hold this up for a bit. So if you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it says. And then there's a little bit more down here as well, so I'll move it up a bit so you get the rest. But yeah, as far as benefits, it says removes obstacles in one's life, eases depression and sadness, evokes feelings of lightness and laughter, benefits the lungs and large intestine, improves assimilation of nutrients and elimination of waste. So, the eases depression and sadness, evokes feelings of lightness and laughter. For those of you who are going through these heavier things that I did mention in the reading, then this actually might be helpful to you. So, what I'll do is I'll put this in the description of the video if you guys wanted to look into that some more. If you guys wanted to book a personal reading with me as well, I'll put some info on that in the description as well. And if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, we have a little bit more fun with astrology and tarot there, so you could check that out. Like I said, this definitely felt like something that might not resonate with a lot of you, but if there were some of you out there that did need to hear this, hopefully you got something from it. And like I said, it looks like things should start to ease as we move towards the time of Taurus. So try to hang in there. And like I said, it's a month reading. They do suck when you get a really bad one, but the month will be here, be done before we know it. I still have no idea how it's almost April already, but that's a whole other story. But I'll talk to you guys next month. All right, bye.